independent origination. There is no ceasing, no arising, no annihilation, no permanence, no coming, no going, no separateness, no sameness. I prostrate to the Bhagavan Buddha, the Supreme Lama, all teachers, the one who taught this peace, which is freedom and liberation. I prostrate to the mothers of the hearers, the Bodhisattvas and the Buddhas, who through the knowledge of all these hearers see pacification and complete peace, who through the knowledge of past forces has migrated to achieve day into the world, and who through the possession of omniscience and subdue and explore varieties of teachings. The one who has transformed into the reliable guide, motivated by altruism and benevolent sentient beings, the teacher, survivor, and protector to your administrations. The one who has eliminated the web of conceptualizations and is endowed with the divine bodies of the vast and profound, who eternally shines forth the forever noble light rays, to you the Buddha bring persuasions. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I tell the mind full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. Okay, I want to quickly explain this Yedharma mantra. Although the meaning is down there, but the word meaning. If possible, when we recite mantras, some mantras may not have say, explicit meanings. They could have implicit meanings. They have implicit meanings, may not necessarily have explicit meaning. For example, like say, Om Muni Muni Maha Muni. So just the Buddha's name is given there. But it's Yedharma, this is full meaning there, explicit, implicit, both are there. And then for example, Om Mani Padme Hum, again same, it has the full meaning there. Then the Shri Hiruka, this mantra, Shri Hiruka, again is the name of the Buddha, and even how the Buddha chose this name, Shri Hiruka. If we know the meaning, it's extremely powerful. And while we know the meaning of this Shri Hiruka, and then every time you just recite this, the Shri Hiruka name, the very powerful meanings will be reflected within your mind. Okay, so with this mind, this mantra, it's, say, the whole content of the teachings of the Buddha, the whole import of the Buddha's teachings, you will see them contained in this verse. Om Yedharma. So this mantra, you also find without Om and some with Om. It does not really matter as much. Although this mention of the mantra with the head, without the tail, with the tail, without the head, both and without both. This is mentioned here. So the Om, with this Om is something common to Buddhism, Hinduism, Jainism. And Om has many meanings, and particularly the Om, the syllables are Om. The meanings are, there are innumerable meanings in Sanskrit. And for example, the Om here, one is that this Om is constituted of 3 letters. Om, 3 letters. And these 3 letters, they symbolize the body, speech, and mind of ours, which are defiled, and the body, speech, and mind of the enlightened beings. When we speak about enlightened beings, we are not to think about some externally enlightened beings. When each one of us, when we become enlightened, then the Om symbolizes the body, speech, and mind, the pure body, speech, and mind of we, when we become enlightened. And then when we are unenlightened now, the same syllable, which constitutes of the 3 letters, this symbolizes the body, speech, and mind of ours now. So this should be a reminder for us that okay, now my true nature is not what we can see now, the body which is so defiled, sickness, aging, death, and hunger, thirst, tension, everything related to the body. So this body is not my true body. My true body is very different, it's so pure. So this is what I'm going to learn over the next few days. My true body is so pure, my speech is so pure, it's not such a defiled, limited, and so much of the flaws. This is not who what my body is, my speech is. And my mind is so defined at the moment, but this is my true, this is not my true nature. The true nature of my mind is so pure. Okay, so this is what we're going to learn. Body, speech, mind. Now, as we recite the symbol Om, this will remind us of purifying, the transforming the body, speech, mind that we have to the body, speech, mind of the enlightened beings. So this is the whole purpose. Then the question is how the transformation can happen. Then the following lines: Ye dharma hetu prabhava hetum desham tathagato hyavata desham jayu nirodha evam vadima shamane soham. Ye dharma, these phenomena, ye dharma, hetu, cause, hetu, prabhava, arise. These phenomena arise from causes. Phenomena here refers to not any phenomena, the phenomenon, the composite phenomena. Composite phenomena, and precisely the phenomena of the pains, the phenomena of happiness, they don't arise randomly. It is on page 6. Page 6. These phenomena arise from the respective causes. They don't arise randomly. Respective causes. Om ye dharma hetu prabhava. Hetum desham tathagato. Hetum. Hetum is the plural form of hetu, the cause. Desham, these causes, the causes, particularly the causes of the suffering, which we like to shun. Hetum desham tathagato. Tathagato, the one who has gone to the thusness, to the ultimate. Tathagato, or they refer to the Buddha. Hyavatat. Hyavatat meaning taught. What these causes are is taught by the Tathagata, by the Buddha. Hyavatat. Desham jayo nirodha. Desham jayo is these. Desham jayo nirodha. These refer to the causes of suffering. Desham jayo. Nirodha is the cessation. Cessation, bringing an end to these causes. Evam is thus. Vati is taught. Evam vati. Mahashramana, taught by the great saint, great teacher, Mahashramana. Yesvaha, established. So the meaning is, these phenomena arise from causes, and the causes are taught by the Tathagata. The cessation of the causes as well is taught by the great seer, great saint. Okay, this meaning. Let's recite this 3 times together. And if possible, as we recite this mantra, let us not just recite this mantra for the sake of reciting mantra. The meanings must be reflected. And every time we recite mantras, or we read the text, the verses, there are 3 ways of reciting, there are 3 ways of doing so. Number 1 is with the words, the flow of the words, number 1. Number 2 is words flow and the meanings reflected. 2. Number 3 is words flow, meanings reflected, and the experiences being invoked. 3 things happening. So where if we are not being watchful, if we are not being careful, then the tendency is that the words flow, but the meanings and experience do not flow. It's very dangerous. Very dangerous. So you will see it through your own experience that words flow, meanings are not reflected, let alone the experiences being invoked. Words flow, and then we may even close our eyes with the body language of the piety. Words flow, but if the meanings are not reflected, your efforts say the same stanza 100,000 times. You may spend the 5, 6, 10, 20 years, but the growth, spiritual transformation is very unlikely. Very unlikely, because the benefit is there, but the benefit is so small that the negative beliefs will easily overwhelm them, and you just 0.001 unit of benefit you get, and then you go out, and then negative thoughts come to you, and they will destroy it right there. So whereas if the meanings are reflected, then the benefit is going to be like 1,000 times more than simply the words alone being uttered. And then, on top of that, through meanings reflected, through deeper reflection, then when you get some experience, particularly, let's say, Edama Hedu Prabhava, Hedu Desham Tathagata, Hyavata, Desham Chayo Nirodha. At that point, Desham Chayo Nirodha, how cessation, how the negative thoughts dissolve in the experience of emptiness. And you can recite this with the tune, with the melody, so that you get time to reflect on. As you reflect on, then particularly you think of the emptiness at that point. Emptiness, in this experience, emptiness, all the negativities dissolve, literally dissolve in this experience, and all these physiological changes you can see within yourself. Then you realize that, okay, this is the meaning of the Nirodha, this meaning of this mantra. And then if this happens over time, this happens on more like a daily basis, then you will see that the actual transformation happens to you. And then you will get conviction that, okay, this is the purpose of the Dhamma practice. Okay, so with that in mind, let's recite this 3 times. Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava Hetum Desham Tathagato Yavatat Desham Chayo Nirodha Evam Vati Mahashramanaye Swaha. Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava Hetum Desham Tathagato Yavatat Desham Chayo Nirodha Evam Vati Mahashramanaye Swaha. Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava Hetum Desham Tathagato Yavatat Desham Chayo Nirodha Evam Vati Mahashramanaye Swaha. All phenomena arise in causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata, the cessation of causes as well as taught by the great seer. Profound, peaceful, elaboration-free, clear-eyed and non-composite. Such is the matter that Dharma I've discovered. Finally, no one who can fathom this teaching in silence or retired into words. Pure utterance, thought and expression is the profession of wisdom. And its nature of space is the ultimate apprehension of self-realized wisdom. To you, the mother of the Buddhas of the 3 times of the obeisance. All composite things are impermanent. All contaminated things are the nature of suffering. All phenomena of the nature of emptiness is selflessness. Transcending sorrow is peace. The Guru is the Buddha, the Guru is the Dharma, likewise the Guru is the Sangha. The Guru is the source of everything wholesome. I go for everything Guru. By the sound of the vibrant drum of Dharma, you liberate all beings of miseries. I beseech you to kindly remain in the teachings until at the end of the expansion of millions of eons. The Buddha does not watch the negativities of beings. Buddha has removed their miseries by his hands. His spiritual realizations are not transferred to them. It's by teaching the truth of the suchness that the beings are liberated. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine light of Dharma for all good and misery's gloom. If you are attached to this life, you are not a spiritual practitioner. If you are attached to samsara, you have no renunciation. If you are attached to your own self-interest, you have no bodhicitta. If there is grasping, you do not have the view. Okay, we will do our 5 minutes breathing meditation. Okay, I hope all of us, we have some meditation practice. We may be doing some form of meditation. I don't. Okay. Is there anyone who has never done any form of meditation? No. Okay, I'll quickly, in which case I don't have to spend much time on this. I'll quickly go through the 4 points for the single point of meditation. And by the way, there are 2 kinds of meditation. One is analytical meditation and another one is single point of meditation. And why do we need these 2 kinds of meditation? And in the first place, what is meditation? Meditation is a habituation, cultivation or habituation into the virtuous object. Cultivation and habituation of the mind onto a virtuous object, that is meditation. For that matter, what do you mean by virtuous object? Finally, the job is to discover the treasure of happiness within yourself. And it's not that only if you're a Buddhist you have the treasure. Everyone has this treasure of ultimate happiness. Everyone, even the non-believers, everyone has this treasure of the treasure known as the, technically it's known as the Buddha nature, the Tathagata. And the Buddha here means the full awakened one. It doesn't mean Buddhism. It is the simplest Sanskrit word. In English it is like awakening. And awakening can happen to anybody. It's not necessary that only if you have the label Buddhist, then you will be awakened. Otherwise you will not be awakened. It's not true. Anybody can be awakened, provided one follows the correct path. So for that matter, this treasure exists within each one of us since time immemorial. And of course all these debates, discussions are there. What do you mean by time immemorial? How do we know that we existed since that time long? How do we know that there's past life, next life? All these questions, whether or not time, whether or not there's a beginning to time, we're talking about time immemorial, meaning no beginningless, the beginningless time. How do we know that whether or not there's a time, beginning to the time? All these questions are there. Okay, keeping them aside for the time being, the point is that we're all just equal in having the same potential, the potential of the ultimate happiness within each one of us. So for that, this treasure is hidden by, meaning that when you don't see this treasure, the gold when mixed with the soil, you will not see the gold. You will not see the gold. So, in the eyes of the ordinary people, there's no gold there. But experts will not dump the mixture. Seeing that there's gold there, they'll convince us the presence of the gold there through removing the dirt. You remove the dirt and the gold inside will start to glow. As the dirt is removed more and more the gold inside will glow. Likewise, the metal dirt should be removed from us and the gold inside, the Buddha nature, will shine. So, how do they say, what's the benefit when the Buddha nature inside shine? So the final, what we will learn over the next few days is that what we dislike is miseries or fears, lack of freedom. What we want, what we seek is happiness. This is what everybody is seeking. Whether you're a believer or non-believer, whether a boy or a girl, whether educated or uneducated, this ethnicity, that ethnicity, this religion, that religion, everybody is seeking these 2 goals, to be free from all the fears of life and to have the maximum happiness. The next question is whether or not this is something achievable. This is the question. So the answer is yes, of course, it's achievable. And Charles Darwin said that no, this is not achievable. And the Buddha said it is achievable. So how? Charles Darwin confined his theories on the basis of the body. And the Buddha confined his theory not only the body but also the mind. So the mind the Buddha sees as the most important thing. And this mind, because of this the Buddha taught extensively on the psychology. But Charles Darwin did not teach much on psychology, he taught more on the anatomy. Anatomy, how the evolution happened, Homo sapiens. Okay, so with this, the Buddha then said that we all have this capacity to discover this treasure inside us. And this treasure is obscured by the mental defilements, and precisely the ignorance. Ignorance and its stains. Ignorance, then of course the ignorance gives rise to the offshoots, like the inappropriate attention, afflictions, contaminated karmas, and these then perpetuate us into the miseries. So the Buddha just boiled down everything into distilled everything into the self-grasping, the ignorance and the self-stains. How to get rid of the ignorance is to introduce the light of the wisdom. It is only to introduce the light of the wisdom. So this wisdom, say that we are in dark here, it's very dark here, midnight, and we like to read the books. You cannot read it, and there's power cut. So what will you do? The wisest thing to do is to light a candle, or get light, to introduce light. So the light, just the light, is a counter force to encounter the darkness. Like what it is the light of the wisdom, introduction which will dispel the darkness with the mental defilements, ignorance. Okay, so this wisdom is like the light. And this light should have two characteristics. One is that this light must be very bright. If the light is very feeble, it doesn't serve the purpose for us to read the books. We have to strain our eyes. Whereas the light is so bright, then with ease you can read books. Number one, it must be very bright. Number two, not only that light should be bright, the light should be very steady. If from this, say like this, the wind blowing, then the light is going to be very flickery. With the flickery light, although the light is very bright, if it's flickery, again you cannot read the books. It cannot serve the purpose for us to read books and so forth. So light must be very steady. So the same light should have two characteristics. One is that it should be so bright, number two, it should be very steady. So the brightness is cultivated. Our mind, this light of the wisdom, we don't expect it somewhere outside. It is within us. It should be cultivated within our mind to dispel it. Because the ignorance is within our mind, the wisdom must be introduced within our mind. So this wisdom should have two attributes: the sharpness of the wisdom and the steadiness of the wisdom. Sharpness of the wisdom will be given rise to by the analytical meditation. And the analytical meditation is to give the sharpness of the wisdom, and the single-pointed meditation is to give the steadiness of the wisdom. So it's for these two reasons that we need the two meditations: analytical meditation and the single-pointed meditation. Now what we do now, 5 minutes, is a single-pointed meditation to build the steadiness of the mind. And for that matter, there are so many versions of the single-pointed meditation. It's not necessary that what we're doing here is the correct and all others are wrong. This is not true. Any single-pointed meditation meant to bring steadiness to our mind, and with the proper, the method or the lineage, everything is fine. It may not even be a Buddhist meditation. It can be Hindu meditation. It could be Jain meditation. Any meditation. And now even the Sufis, they also have this, the meditation system. And the Christians also, they have the meditation system. So any meditation, as long as the 4 points, which we will discuss here very quickly, 4 points. Of the 4, point number 3 and point number 4, these two are so important. And no matter what meditation, the tradition of meditation that you're following, if one is not really the precise with following point number 4, 3 and 4, your meditation is not a good meditation. Whatever tradition that you follow, it doesn't matter. Okay, point number 1 is body posture. Point number 2 is the focal point. What are you going to meditate on? Point number 2. Point number 3 is identifying the errors of meditation. And point number 4, apply the remedies to overcome the errors. Point number 1, body posture. Point number 2, focal point. Focal point, what are we going to meditate on? Point number 2. Point number 3, identify the errors of meditation. Errors or mistakes of meditation. And point number 4, applying the remedies to overcome the errors. Body posture, focal point, identifying the errors of meditation, and applying the remedies to overcome the errors. 4 points. Okay. Number 1, body posture. I don't want to go into detail. Cross-legged if you can. This is the best, particularly for a long-term practice. The cross-legged position, full lotus position. The left foot on your right leg and the right foot on your left leg. This will keep your mind very fresh for a longer period of time. And then the next point, which is so important, is the body upright. Until you have knee problem, you have backache problem, it is always advised to keep your body upright when meditating, not leaning against the support. Whereas if you have backache problem, then don't force yourself to sit upright. If it is more comfortable sitting with your back, leaning against the support, do that. But so for those who have no backache problem, then it's always best not to lean against the support. If you that's very obvious when you do the practice without the support, leaning against the support for a while, and then later on just try this with the moment you see the support, your mind instantly drops in clarity. Your mind drops in the clarity and the alertness instantly. This is how the mind and the energy, these two, they work hand in hand. The moment the energy you see the help of support, instantly the energy will drop. Energy will feel relaxed. Relaxed meaning is not a good thing. The alertness will disappear. The freshness, rigor will disappear. Energy rigor disappears, the mind clarity dissolves. The rigor of the mind dissolves. It stops. So this is the problem. So therefore in meditation, if you have no backache problem, then do it without the support. Whereas if you have backache problem, then even if you take the support, there's no problem. This is very strange. If you have backache problem, you take support of the chair or whatever, it helps you. Instead of harming, it helps you. For those who have no backache problem, you seek the support, it will harm you in a meditation. Okay. Then the next very important point is the eyes not closed. Don't do your meditation with the eyes closed. But what I would say is that of the two, analytical meditation and single point of meditation, precisely for single point of meditation, don't do meditation with the eyes closed. For single point of meditation. For analytical, it's not a problem. For analytical, because the mind is so active already, by closing eyes, it may not hinder your practice as much. But for the single point meditation, this will instantly slide you into mental laxity, drowsiness, and sleepiness instantly. Okay, so eyes not closed. Eyes 45 degrees cast, the eye half open, 45 degrees cast down, and just ignore this. Okay, next, then the breathe naturally, and then keep your teeth and lips on the natural course, and your tip of the tongue should touch the upper palate, and breathe naturally. Don't force your breath, don't control your breath. And right hand on the left hand, and the tips of two thumbs joining, forming a triangle. Place the two hands on your laps in a restful state. Okay, this is your body position. Okay, so while your body is upright, make sure that, okay, some people, in fact, I myself, when I was in my childhood, I always sit like this. This is my style of sitting when I was a child. It's a terrible position. Always learn how to sit upright. Always learn how to sit upright. So, number one, backbone. This is extremely important for the backbone, spine. And then for meditation, the freshness will be there. The moment you sit like this, instantly you will feel your mind becomes a little lax. Sit upright, feel that your mind is fresh. Okay. This is the body posture. Number 2 is focal point. Focal point, okay, whatever practice that you've been doing, you can do that. Otherwise, if you don't have one, then visualize a tiny dot, tiny white dot between nose and upper lip. Tiny white dot there. And if possible, the multitasking. While visualizing your mind on tiny dot, then count your breath. Breathe in, breathe out. Cycle 1, breathe in, breathe out. Cycle 2. This is what we're going to do for 5 minutes. Okay. Then number 3, number 4, extremely, extremely important. Number 3 and number 4. Number 3, what's number 3? Identify the errors of meditation. Identify the errors of meditation. 2 errors. One is laxity and the other one is excitement. Laxity is where your mind falls, where your mind becomes lethargic, your mind becomes heavy, your mind starts to sink and sloppy. This is the problem of the mental laxity, mental heaviness. The other one is, this is the inactivity of mind. Mental laxity is the inactivity of mind. Whereas the mental excitement is the overactivity of the mind. Overactivity, mind not sitting on the focal point, instead it just gets scattered here and there. These two, we are bound to fall prey to one of these two problems. Should any of these two things happen, go for number 4. Number 4, where's number 4? Apply the remedies to overcome the errors. Very good, apply the remedies. And the remedies, there are 2, introspection and mindfulness. Introspection and mindfulness. Introspection is to keep an eye on your mind to see if your mind is still meditating or is already distracted or in a lax state. Just see that. Should you see that it's already distracted or in a lax state, no need to worry, just go to grab mindfulness. So the moment you see that your mind is already distracted or in a lax state, the job of your introspection is done. Next is the job of the next remedy, which is mindfulness. Job of the mindfulness is like the rope. Just as a rope, you tie the top of the rope and bring it back home. Likewise, tie the mind with the rope of the mindfulness and bring it back to the intended object of the meditation. Okay, this is what we're going to do for 5 minutes. Ready? Okay.